Coel. Hello, I'm Coel with Stable Strategies, and I'm here today with Sadie Stanton, and we're talking about sustainability, the process of getting certification or different certifications and what that looks like, how that affects your workforce, and then also her as a consumer and her opinions on what really matters and what we can do as brands to do better for both the environment and for our consumers. I worked with Sadie in a past position, and I have to say she is phenomenal to work with, wonderful attitude, has a lot of knowledge in an array of areas, and she's one of those people that digs into the hard. So she never runs from a challenge, and that was so refreshing and so appreciated. And
I learned from the best.
And so I'm really glad that she took time out of her day to come here and to chat with me. So Sadie, what did you find in that process that we did? We achieved a certification for one of our larger clients, and it was something that we had to review every couple of years. So as you took over that process, what surprised you about the entire scope?
I think it can be incredibly intimidating when you're trying to bring data together to showcase your company's commitment to sustainability. Obviously, building those core values are really important, and it's easy for a company to say we're committed to doing better for the environment, we're committed to sustainability, but being able to actually put that on paper in a way that someone else can consume that information was really challenging. And also, I think a big challenge when businesses are trying to build their sustainability programs is buy-in. Making sure that it's not just one person leading the charge, and that you have it really has to come from senior leadership, or you're not going to have buy-in at all levels.
Absolutely. I think one other thing that I found really challenging was we were in a lean period, or a period where we got leaner as a business.
Absolutely.
And as you require more out of associates, just to keep the business afloat, how do you add to that? Mm-hmm. How do you add to those requirements? And it wasn't a period post-COVID, mm-hmm. which made it interesting because the economic climate looked different. But it definitely put the pressure, to certain individuals that felt like they had enough already.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that's something that a lot of businesses deal with, is how much of their resources are they and their people are they going to put towards, achieving those certifications or making those sustainability goals achievable. And you really do have to have people committed to it. And if they're doing, I think you have to make sure that it's in line somewhat with the work that they already do. Record keeping is really challenging. It's really important in achieving these certifications, and you have to have people who are really dedicated to digging for that information sometimes, and finding ways also to continue to collect that data long term.
And that requires a partnership from different departments.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
Once you identify what you need, it can be much easier to keep that going.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that really stands out to me as we look at the ESG climate is work-life balance. Mm-hmm. And today we have your son with us.
We do.
Because you're a brand strategist, but I was blessed enough to work with Sadie and get really excited when she found out that she was about ready to have him. And he would like our attention. So he's going to join us today because that's what matters. So I'm going to go get the baby, and then we're going to finish this conversation because it's 2024 and we can do that.
Absolutely. You do that? You just want to hang out?
Hi. Oh, look at that look. You're the cutest.
I'll try.
We're good. We are. All right, now we're back. Sadie, if you would introduce our special guest.
This is Wilder. He's 7 months old and very attached to Mom right now. So.
As he should be, because they're the most important thing.
Absolutely.
For the record, mine are 19 and 21, and it goes way too fast. So we're going to enjoy this time with you because you're Smiley, and I'll take it. Mm-hmm. I will. So as we worked through, I got the advantage of doing the certification once and then leading when you were doing it. Mm-hmm. And the method of that was much more pleasant the second time than it was the first time.
Glad to hear that.
But you had an interesting experience because we were in the midst of a big transition as a company. We had changed production facilities and consolidated some resources. And so the plant that had originally, the manufacturing plant that had originally done the certifications was no longer involved.
Right.
And we had consolidated that. So it's interesting because the first location had a lot of buy-in because they were there at the very beginning when we partnered with the client for this new kind of expectation. And that whole team kind of got on board and ran with it. Yeah. And so you got to experience transitioning that to a team that wasn't as close to the client and was taking on a lot of new responsibility at the same time.
Very true.
What methods did you find worked for you? Because some of that was a challenge to get people engaged.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that interestingly enough, just having the conversation with the right people, we found out that they were actually making a lot of efforts that we just didn't know about. You know, when I was trying to gather records specifically, you know, we found out that they were looking at switching to water-based paint, or that they had converted lights to LED already, and there were things that were happening. It was just a matter of kind of getting people involved in the conversation and sitting down and saying, you know, tell us about what's going on. I think that sustainability can be kind of a hard conversation to have with people. It for some reason can have a negative connotation, in that there's this oversight, right? Like we're trying to judge the work that's being done, or there's not enough time to pay attention to. It's going to take time away from the process, from manufacturing, it's going to take time away from other people's important responsibilities. As you mentioned, you know, we're running lean. People don't have a lot of additional time to contribute to what is kind of a big project. And I think I found that when we got the right people together to have the conversation, it was a lot more positive than I expected.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I think what I found really interesting is that they were doing so many things that nobody was aware of.
Yeah.
The change to water-based paint, a move away from chemicals that can leach, the LED change from a cost savings perspective, but also to help the staff that was changing light bulbs, because we weren't in the same situation with some of the toxicity that can happen. And so I think business today is doing a lot of things that move in the right direction, not all of them visible. Sure. And we're so siloed trying to get our work done that sometimes we just don't realize that work is happening. Yeah, so that was really fun to see. I think one of the things that I found interesting was that once we got through the conversation and kind of got them on board, at the end of the process, when we kind of emailed out and said, okay, this happened, I think there was a sigh of relief, and then people's buy-in went up. Yeah. So whereas the original plant was there from the beginning, so they had the buy-in from the customer, I think by the time we got to the end of the process the second time, more than the second time, but the first time in this new facility, I think they were ready to do it again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think there's something to be said for praise. You know, people like seeing the outcome of their efforts. They like, and sometimes as we mentioned, we're making these efforts towards sustainable practices, but we maybe don't see, if we're not tracking them, then maybe we're not seeing the results of them. And it's not just from we want to be good stewards to the environment. It's also, you know, it can have business implications from a cost savings perspective. For instance, packaging was one of the things that we were taking a close look at, that our partner was interested in tracking. And, you know, from a business perspective, that's also beneficial from a bottom line. You know, you're using less packaging, being more resourceful with what you're having to purchase on that side. And so I think being able to track that over the course of several years and see the results was really beneficial for everybody involved. And it kind of gave people a little bit more of more excitement to be involved in the process and to bring their ideas to the table too.
I think so too. I think the other interesting thing that stood out to us is hospitality as an industry is pretty forward thinking.
Yeah.
They service a. I heard an interesting statistic this morning on CNBC that something like 90% of all air travel happens in the top 10% of earnings in America, and that particular audience can be more particular about the products and where it comes from and those kind of things. And hospitality also tends to serve a higher income group.
Yeah.
And that bracket is asking for sustainability. And so we see the Marriotts, the Radissons, the Choice, we see these groups implementing pretty significant requirements for sustainability, both in building and in other areas of their business. And as that happens, one of the things that I think is missing in the merchandise area of marketing is we have some companies that are really aggressively adopting it, and then we have others that are slowly coming around. But certifications vary greatly in what they mean, what they require, and what really matters. And so we can see greenwashing happening in all sorts of industries.
Absolutely.
Some of the different things that we had to validate, do you think any of the questions that were asked or any of the kind of the reporting that we had to give, did you find some of it invalid, or did you think that there was holes there to kind of?
Yeah, I think it can be easy to twist data to your. I'm from a marketing background. It can be easy to make numbers say what you want them to say, and there's that danger, sure, when you're doing reporting for environmental standards and sustainability standards as well. But I also think that working with these third parties that specialize in certifications, they're holding you accountable and they're learning as they're going. It's still fairly new, I think, and that sustainability is not a trend; it's a long term. It's part of the picture now. And to your point, maybe getting a little off topic, but I think that So I read that your larger corporations are the ones that are driving the sustainability model right now, meaning that is going to filter down to your vendors, your smaller businesses that are supporting these larger corporations. It's like the hospitality industry that we were serving, and those businesses may not be prepared for that. And I think that what I found really important in what we were doing is honesty in our reporting and not trying to bend the data. I think it's better to say, we recognize that this is an issue, and we're going to do these things moving forward. Continuing to show that you're making progress over the course of a set of years is better than making up data or not being able to provide it, because at some point maybe you're going to have to. And these larger corporations may have to report from a I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Well, to shareholders.
Yes.
Yeah, shareholders and customers.
Stakeholders, absolutely. And your consumers are also the ones that are driving this. So where their dollars are spent matters to them. And I think especially you see in my generation and the generation following. So I fall directly in the middle of the millennial category, but Gen Z as well. Both of those groups are shown to.
Can I have you? Oh, that's so exciting. You're going to let her back. I know it.
Yeah.
I know it, but that's okay. I'll take the stuff while I can.
Anyway, millennials and Gen Z, the research shows that they care about where their money is going. And, Gen Z is poised to take over millennials as far as spending availability in the next 7 to 10 years, probably. Mm-hmm. And they care. They care about the products that they're buying, and they're not just going. To your point about greenwashing, another interesting statistic is that they have all of this. We have all of this information at our disposal, via the internet, via social media, via being so connected in this digital world. Millennials and Gen Z are going to hold you accountable. They don't want to just see on your website that you have a commitment to sustainability. They're going to go check those third parties. They're going to check, influencers. They're going to check product reviews, people's reviews. They're doing their due diligence, and they want to know that you're not just saying that you're doing something. They want to see the data. They want to see that you're working with third parties to get those certifications to show that what you say is really what you're doing.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing that I'm starting to see in the industry, and it's really been started by a company called Rupt. I think they've done it better than anybody else in the industry so far. Is transparency. We know where they're not shy about showing where in China their product's made, and it's hard in the merchandise industry to get away from developing nations from a manufacturing perspective.
Yeah.
But it can be done well. So you can see a video of good lighting and adults and
Yes.
in the manufacturing facility. In addition, their manufacturing facility has a program that hires adults with disabilities. The packaging is nearly 100% recycled. The plastics are recycled, but they publish and tell you exactly what percentage, because it's hard to hit 100%.
Right.
So there are actors that are doing it really well. And I think, I had someone ask me earlier this week, do I think that because we have some economic change happening right now, that sustainability is just a fad that they can't afford? And it struck me as I heard the same things a decade ago, which is why the industry didn't really move quickly.
Yeah.
And as we look at what's really happening economically in America, corporations have more cash than they've had in 40 years. They have higher margins than they've had since 1960, and at a lower tax rate than they've also had in the last 30 years, actual tax rate, right? After you subtract expenses and all of that kind of stuff. And the other interesting thing is that they're actually making more in interest than on the loans they have, because they loaned pre the interest rate hike. So there's money in business to spend on what consumers want. And so sustainability can't be a fad. Our weather patterns alone tell us that things are changing. And I think it's even more important. I think it's more applicable that Wilder's here, because while my children are in their early 20s, almost 20, I'm worried about the impacts of a generation from the 80s that all we did was consume. Same thing in the 90s. And we were talking about Earth Day. I was on USA Today with my class as a fourth grader for Earth Day in a long time ago, like in the early 90s or in the late 80s, sometime, long time ago. And we were worried about it then, but we didn't realize. And when we see things like Shein, and I'm a fashion girl, like I love my clothes. I have a problem. But I can't bring myself to buy from a Shein, and that's not to shame anyone that does.
Right.
But we are consuming at a high rate, and so how do we ask for that accountability?
Yeah, absolutely.
The one product I'm most excited about that has nothing to do with marketing, that I went to a talk at Wichita State. They do a quarterly or a biannual resident business and residence program. Really, I know. He was a very important guy, and maybe a little intimidating when I talked to him. But there was one of the chief financial people, VP of finance something or other from GE, and he was really interesting to listen to. Shame on me for not remembering his name right now. I wrote him a thank you note. It was such a good talk. But Tide is coming out with the sheets, the environmental sheets. And I have a problem because I only use Tide because I like my laundry to smell good and get clean.
Not a promotion, just a
fact. I'm a mess. There's horses out back, so there's a large likelihood that my stuff's going to be stained by the time I get it in here. And they're coming out with the Tide sheets, so I don't have to have the big plastic jug. And it bothers me now to buy the big plastic jug. So it's not a fit. It's not a fad.
No,
it
not
isn't.
at all. It's funny you bring that up because I was just having that conversation with my husband the other day about making the switch, and I had done some research on those fabric sheets to see what was going on. I mean, consumers in our generation care, and they want to make those changes, and they want to see the corporations that they support make those changes too.
Can I have you back? Yeah, I can. Oh, I missed. It's no wonder I was fit. It's no wonder I was fit. Yeah, really? What do you think? Here, can I try? You think? I haven't got to do this in forever.
We'll test your skills.
Oh,
look at you go.
This is like the best day ever. I get to have Sadie over, and I get the snuggles, and we get to talk about not destroying our environment. That's a pretty good day. That's a pretty good day. It is. Oh, look at those eyes. Oh, that's like the best thing ever. I'm just saying. Okay, so now you're doing a different role. And so just for clarity, environmental standards was not Sadie's only role. She's a rock star. So she was a senior project manager. She helped the largest project. She didn't just help. She led the corporate side of the largest project our company had ever done and did it phenomenally. And problem solved, I don't even know how many times a day, all the time. And it was fantastic. But in addition to doing that, she also led this particular project for our recertification. But she is now currently doing brand strategy for a local retailer, I believe.
Yeah, so I'm working, doing some marketing and branding strategy as a freelance consultant, but also currently working with an interior designer that's getting up and going here in Wichita. And so it's been interesting to see kind of the sustainability movement in a couple of different environments. You know, we worked with interior designers in our previous life in the signage industry, and I think that there was a big push towards biophilic design at that time within the hospitality industry. And then I'm also seeing that as I'm learning more about the interior design industry for residential and commercial. Also, there's saying that biophilic design is one of the big trends for 2024. And again, as with sustainability, I don't think it's a trend. I think people have been working in very high stress, highly connected, always available kind of worlds, and they are looking for ways to reconnect with nature. And for those that don't know what biophilic design is, it's the concept of bringing the outdoors in, basically, of connecting people with nature in an indoor environment, whether that be by materials and finishes like woods and bamboos and or living walls, or even just finishes and colors and schemes that mimic natural environments. And so I'm really loving seeing that in design, and I think that also says a lot about what people care about right now and what they're passionate about.
So I think it's interesting. One, we both have a love of plants. She kills them less often than I do.
I don't know about
for the record.
Just more quietly.
As we relocated our office to a really neat space, when all of the transition happened in the last role, one of the things that we did as a team was we put plants all around the office, and they coordinated with this design theme, and Sadie helped keep them from dying. And I do have a couple of little pieces that were cuttings from that team, which is a way for me to stay with the team because I have issues. I get really connected to people I work with. So I'm really excited to spend the time with Sadie today. But on that note, I did want to just mention, as this is less design, but also in the merch world, we're seeing really not just a gravitation towards sustainability from a manufacturing perspective and better people resources, making sure that we're using labor in a better way, making sure we interact with our labor in a better way, better benefits, things of that nature. That same company that I talked about earlier, Rupt, it also invested in this company, not Netflix, but the company that made this. And so you can see that they have different decoration methods. So that's just a fun, there are ways for you to interact to really showcase what you're doing. And that particular desk plant provider also has the ability to do completely recycled pots. So it's
wonderful.
Like the whole conversation about doing it better. So while we're on that note, I wanted to just walk through a couple of products and maybe get your opinion, because they're made by companies that are really forward thinking. So the first thing I have here is the BioLite camp stove, and I want you to tell me if you think this has purpose or if it's a gimmick, because I think it's really cool, but I don't know for sure.
Tell me more.
So the BioLite camp stove, BioLite is a company that has some sustainability track record. So BioLite.help, and I have the box in here wrong. So the box is really nice, so it's really cool. But it says 1 million people living safer and brighter lives, and we're just getting started. So they give back to areas that have energy challenges.
Yeah.
And then this stove is actually a power converter. So we're clearly not going to light it in the house. I'm honoring, but I'm not a big fan of carbon monoxide. I do have a detector though. So if you don't have a detector in your home, you should get one. So this is what it looks like, and it's got little feet that it sets on, which I think they're in here. And so you put sticks or twigs or leaves or whatnot in here, and then this hooks to the outside of it. Oh, they don't hook, they fold out.
Built into the design.
Built into the design. And it comes with little fire starters in the box and a flex light so you could read your book or whatnot, instructions, and a USB cable. And then this will charge your phone.
That's amazing.
So it's actually a power bank and heat source. So you lay that down, you pop that in, and then you can plug your devices in here. So if there was a tornado or something major, as long as you had a fire, some sort of fuel, you could charge your phone. And it has a fan built in, so it keeps this from getting too hot. It has warning labels on the side. And so I'm kind of, I'm from Western Kansas, so I'm a little odd. I like the safety stuff, and there's weapons here, like not scary ones, but just,
Flashlights.
Anyway.
You gave us flashlights.
But I gave flashlights for a Christmas gift one year,
and we use it
because it's handy, right? Like you gotta have stuff you use.
Yeah.
You never know when I'm gonna start a project. It's
literally.
I might have retiled my bathroom floor this morning before she got here. Really, but does this and it's decoratable, so you can do it's laser etching.
Yeah.
Which the nice thing about the engraving is you don't have any inks, so you're not, but it is energy intensive, so that's something to keep in mind. Does this look more like as an employee gift or something like that? Would this be something that you would enjoy receiving as an employee, or would you feel like it was gimmicky?
Oh, it's absolutely not gimmicky. I mean, starting with packaging, it's beautiful. It looks really luxe and like somebody invested a lot of time in it, but also I'm just a big fan of great design, and you can tell that whole product has really been, everything has been considered in it. I love that the feet are built in, that it has multiple uses, and I'm not a camper, I'm a little bit of a bougie camper, so having the ability to charge over devices is, I feel like a direct attack, but things like that really provide, it's something that people are going to keep and use, and it's going to have function in their life, and not something that, not that I'm against, pens or pop sockets or whatever. I'm a little against them, but I mean, pens have their necessity, but you don't want, I think, as we've mentioned, people are not interested in having a bunch of things that they're going to take home and not use that don't have function or value to them. They'd rather have maybe one, nicer item that they're going to use that has function, and that they don't feel guilty about, contributing to waste.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
And plus, it's just really cool. Like, everybody loves something
fun.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, I appreciate your feedback on that. So then here are a couple of other things that stand out to me.
Way to put me on the spot, by the way.
Oh, no problem.
It's fine. That's my favorite.
And she's kind of used to it with me, but I try not to.
I'll allow it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Okay, so this is not a recycled product, but to me it's got like a higher perceived value, and again, it's things that I think there are a couple of different ways you can look at sustainability. You can look at it, is it recycled? What's the life cycle? I think circularity is important, but I also think something that's going to have longevity and value. So I'm kind of a nerd. So to me, I like this because it's organizing, but for one of the things that I was challenged with as a leader of multiple departments is how do you onboard and make someone feel special and make sure that they have what they need and that they feel a part of the team. And so this is a product, and I'm going to have the gallon from Civil War later in the month. But, so this is a product called the Vault. And so it comes with it says the Vault right on it, and it's decoratable on the front. And then inside, when you open it, it's got like the tabs so you can organize, and then the cute little drawers, and then like a spot to put things. And so the idea behind this is that as you onboard, you can have some of the desk accessories, like maybe a coffee mug or whatnot in here, but then your new hire packet, etc. And it gives you a way to kind of keep everything together at your desk, especially for those that are either partially remote or hybrid. So as you look at this, does this, as a new hire, would this be something that you would like, or would you feel like this is something that you might keep for a few weeks and then it would probably just go away?
I love a good organization tool, and let's be honest, we all get stacks of papers when you onboard somewhere and they end up in a pile or strewn about your desk, and I love something that can keep that compact and in a space that you can still find everything when you need it, which is my challenge as a chaos worker, but I think that's great. It obviously shows that they're invested. I feel like it has quality to it. It's not just handing you a lanyard and saying welcome to the team, figure it out,
right? So the thing I like is that inside the drawers there are 2 compartments. I'm trying not to. So you've got a bigger compartment down here and then 3 little ones. Again, I'm giantly nerdy, so I sold office products for 20 years. It's like a giant Pac-Man. It's like a giant Pac-Man. And so I like all things that keep my desk organized. Not that you can tell after I've worked all day, because it has to be reorganized in the morning.
But the ability to do it gives you some
That's right.
satisfaction.
So then the last thing is, I'm going to show you the stuff from Rupt, and then you get to pick something, either the bag or out of the bag, as your take-home present. So this is even more exciting. So this is all by that company that I had mentioned earlier called Rupt, and they literally named themselves to disrupt the industry.
Okay.
So
I'm a fan of a strong brand name too. That's wonderful.
Right? And they're just a lot of fun. So they designed the bag. The bag is not 100% recycled because they're honest with us. Like, there are parts of the bag, and I don't remember what they said. It might be the clips, it might be the zippers, but there are certain parts, it's really cool.
Test it out.
That's good. But there are certain parts of the bag, like this material is recycled. And the really neat thing about one of the things they've launched, and their website's changing almost daily, is that you can see a carbon calculator on each one of these product page and see how many water bottles or how much carbon was reduced through the products. And I don't remember whether it's water bottles or carbon. I think theirs is carbon, but I have a couple of different brands on my page that do different kinds of calculators. So I love this bag. It's got all sorts of pockets, so you can feel it, because Wilder likes it.
I like the texture here on the back.
Yeah, I like it because it's wipe offable. So it's got a laptop sleeve here. 2 sides are padded, so you can have multiple devices. And then it's got the front pocket and another 2 little side pockets, and this is expandable or make it thinner. But then we've got some other items. So one of the things that I really like about them is that all of their package is considered second-use packaging. So this one's really cool. So this bag,
impressive for such beautiful packaging.
Isn't it?
Again, I'm a little bit of a marketing nerd, so packaging is wonderful.
And it's recycled. So it's recycled content for the packaging, and it's pretty. So this is the Spiglio. So here's the unboxing, which I would normally let you do, but Wilder got this, and he's so cute. He's so cute. Okay, I'm really glad he's here. Okay. So it gives you some information about what's recycled and just kind of the spiel. And then here's the bottle itself. So the bottle comes in this black, isn't it? And then they also have a white version that has silver. So how cool is that? Yeah. And then even better, this box literally turns into a bird feeder.
What?
Yeah. So we're going to do that really quick. It shows you a picture of the bird feeder. I'm going to get close on the side. And then later in social media, I'll post. They ordered 2 birds from Amazon to showcase how it works. It was really cute in one of their videos. So here we go. So it goes like this.
Test your building skills.
We are. Big shocker. I know that. Okay. So it goes like this. Oh, this. There we go. And this. Is that right? Yes. Okay.
So I feel like they've keyed into the fact they've done their research about their generations, because I don't know about yours, but millennials are very keyed into bird watching now.
Oh!
It's like a new fad now that we've all...
Really? Oh.
People buying bird feeders with cameras on them and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, now see, I just like the hummingbirds. I mean, I like them all, but... So this is the bird feeder. So you can set it outside, and then you can put a stick through here. It doesn't come with the stick. Oh, I did this wrong. The holes are to go together because then you can hang it. There's a way to hang the entire situation. So this is a bird feeder, and this is the water bottle. So that's just neat. Okay?
Absolutely.
So that's product number 1. And then again, this is recycled aluminum. They tell you all of the content. I'm not going to say it's 100% because they're very honest about that, but I love the honesty about that.
Well, I think we should always be working towards the highest level we can achieve, but the honesty and the transparency, as you mentioned, is the most important thing.
Yeah.
That's what people identify with.
I agree. Okay, so then this one's really cool. This is the Dipster, and it's a waterproof speaker.
Nice.
And again, super high recycled content. They're using second-use metals. I mean, they're is my understanding. I believe they're recycling some of the metal and some of the other items as well, but we can dive into that on their site more. So again, the recycled packaging.
Beautiful.
And it's recyclable. And then I've had this one open before, so I apparently didn't put the plastic back straight, but it's really gorgeous, so I'm hoping I don't mess up the box. Okay, I didn't mess up the box. Okay, so then we open this up. And it's full color imprint, and everything comes with like the accessories, so... And with a quantity of 250, you can also customize the box.
Oh, great.
So then...
That's adorable.
Yeah. Full color imprint, completely waterproof, and it's like a heavy duty speaker. Like it's really, really loud.
Yeah.
And then this box does turn into something. Let's see. Oh, it tells me. Oh, it's a desk organizer. So you do this.
Oh, sure enough. Loving all this multifunctional
There you
packaging.
go.
That's cool.
Right? Okay, so that's that. And then I have another one. I just keep pulling out more fun things.
Yeah, I love it.
I'm going to make it hard for her to make a
It's
decision,
like
right? So this is called the Voltix, and this is a portable charger. It's a 10,000 mAh charger, so it's a big mamma jamma. They make one larger than this. So really nice packaging again. And this that feels really nice and heavy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Love that.
And then you can see that it's full color imprint again.
Mm-hmm.
And the neat thing is they have multiple imprint options, so we can put the logo different places. And so the power button's here, and you've got 2 USB-C in and out, and then also a regular USB. But a 10,000 mAh is great. And then this is a phone holder.
Oh.
So this does, I haven't done it yet. Oh, there we go. Okay, so it goes like, am I smart enough to figure it out? I might not be. Oh, wait, there's 2 sides that pull out? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. Oh,
Maybe.
yeah.
One way or the other.
Yeah. So, and then you can put your device right there.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe it said the charging cords can come behind. Yeah, charger or platform holder. So there's that item, and then there's one more water bottle. And this one is just really cute. And I like this one. It's also a desk organizer, but I like the bottle a lot. So really nice packaging. And you can feel the really nice imprint on it.
Oh, yeah. That's great.
So, and then this slides in here, and now you have a desk organizer.
Love it.
So these are all just products from one company, but this company, like I said, has a carbon calculator on the site. They're completely transparent, and all of these designs they did themselves. So you can't find them anywhere else. They paid for the engineering, they designed them. I believe one of their speakers has like subwoofers and all sorts of things I don't understand. in them. And then the craziest thing is you can buy them in a quantity of 1.
No way.
Mm-hmm. They drop ship anywhere in the country, and the minimum quantity is 1 with a full color imprint and no setup fee, which means for a new hire or for a customer gift or for a program, medium to small to large businesses can use them, and they ship from 3 continents. So there's no freight in Europe or somewhere else.
One of the other.
One of the others. So, of your thank you for putting up with me and sharing Wilder with me.
I have to just say, like, not an advertisement, because I didn't know we were going to talk about these, but coming from my marketing background, I've worked with a lot of smaller businesses that don't have the ability to purchase, 500, 1,000 products at one time, and it can be really challenging to find one-off options to promote your brand. And that's something that, that's the discussion I've been having with the new brand that I'm working with that's kind of trying to grow their awareness. And they're in a higher end category. They're looking for things that people aren't going to throw away. They really don't want to do the smaller, gimmicky type things or cheap impressions. And so things like these are just really awesome to see. I get nerdy about it because it's cool to see companies really being thoughtful about the products that they're producing, all the way up until, packaging, and also options for imprinting full color like that. Yeah,
it's pretty great.
I can do a lot of that.
I have 2 more for you to choose from. This is the Soundo. Mm-hmm. This is a pocket size speaker, Sound Oasis. Has controls on it to talk to your phone. Also full color imprint, and like the woofer thing. I don't know what I'm talking about. The guys at Roped are way smarter than me and probably a little bit more fun. And so they made it good. So so those are items. And I love the Ghost earbuds too. The only thing that I have to say about one of the other sets of earbuds is the noise canceling wasn't great. The sound was great, but the noise canceling when you were talking wasn't fantastic. But the packaging, I mean, again, this one turns into, what does this one turn into? Transforms into a notes organizer. I probably need that one. But, okay, now, because I didn't realize there was more in the back. And I told you could choose from any of them, so you have to be able to see them all.
Oh, okay. Yes,
So,
of course.
So there we go. What do you think you and Wilder would like to take home today from your wonderful, fun podcast adventure?
I would love to take home your little speaker. I think my kids would have a lot of fun with that, and we go to the lake in the summers too, and that's an awesome little item for us to have at home. Huh?
So the other really cool thing about this is if you convince someone else that they need one, I'll gift you another one.
Okay.
And but even better is they link together.
Oh, that's fun.
So it doesn't matter what speaker you have from Roped, they all talk to each other. So you can literally turn it into like a sound party.
Sound system.
So,
that's really fun.
if you gave it to employees for a gift or for Christmas or whatnot, and they were in it, they could link them all together.
That's cool.
I just like nerdy things. Someday I'm going to be in one of those. What is it? I know this. I'm getting older apparently. What do you call it when you show up at a place and everybody starts dancing?
A flash mob?
A flash mob. Someday I want to be in a flash mob.
We're going to make it happen. I'm going to find
I'll
organize our own.
There we go. I want to do that. And maybe we'll do it with Roped speakers. So I really appreciate you taking the time. And I appreciate you sharing Wilder with us.
Well, yes, hopefully it's not too distracting.
No. You know what? Even
appreciate your flexibility.
Even if it is distracting, there's a reason that we care.
Yeah.
And you're the reason that we care.
That's absolutely right.
You're the reason that we care.
Yeah.
Because it's our job to take it to the next generation in better condition than we got it. And we have to try.
It's a great conversation to be having, and it excites me to continue to be having it with you and getting to work with you some more again. So thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for watching our very first Stable Strategies podcast. And there will be more, and I'm really going to try and get Sadie to come back because I get to play with Wilder. And of all the things I get to do today, that'll be the best. So thank you so much. Check out our website, Stable Strategies. If you have anything you'd like to talk about from a sustainability perspective or marketing perspective, I'd love to chat with you. You can come to my space, or I can come to you. Have a fantastic day.